Okay, like Mr. Rhodes said, I'm Corey McDonald. I'm a student at USU right now, and I am going into ag teaching. So I get to just do a little presentation about SAEs. Do you guys all know what SAE stands for? Perfect, thank you. So how many of you have an SAE? Okay, that's awesome. For those of you that don't, you're going to get to learn, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll want to get one. We're going to start with a clip by Dale Brisby. Do you guys all know who he is?
Heck yeah.
Super punter.
Dale, yeah.
Okay.
I'm Dale Brisby, and I'm a super puncher. I'm Dale Brisby, and I'm a super puncher. Now, you guys know me as the expert on all things. You guys know me as the expert on all things cowboy. I've written a book on You Ain't No Cowboy. It's available on Audible, paperback, etc. There's a new book out. It's called How to Be a Super Puncher. Are you a super puncher? You ain't no super puncher. Listen, there's levels of cowboy. You got just your beginner basic cowboy. You've got your hands. You've got top hands, even. There's little fingers off of those. Campers, ranch managers. You've got punchers right above the top hands, sometimes right at them. Then, at the very big top, you've got super punchers. Okay, you can be a cowboy but not a super puncher at times, but you can't be a super puncher and not be a cowboy. You see how that works? It's complicated. Read the book. I'm going to cover the basics, right?
Okay, so I have this 12-year-old brother that he loves Dale Brisby, and he thinks he's going to be a super puncher. So the question I want to ask you guys, can my brother get recognition by certain organizations, for being a super puncher? Heck yes he can. He can turn that into his SAE, right? Because anything can be your SAE project. It can be being a super puncher, it can be working at Burger King, anything can be an SAE. So we're going to talk about the types of SAEs, their purposes, and what benefits you get from having one. So there are 6 types. These two, ownership and entrepreneurship and placement and internship, are probably the most common. But there's one that not a whole ton of people know about, but FFA.org says that everyone should have one. And that's this foundational SAE. This is just a focus on learning about different facets of agriculture and careers therein. So if you come from a beef operation and you want to go shadow someone in the swine operation, that can be your foundational SAE, if you think you want to be a pig farmer instead of a beef farmer. I would recommend sticking with beef though, personally. Ownership/entrepreneurship. I bet a lot of you are doing this for your SAE. How many of you are showing animals at the fair? That's awesome. What animals are you showing? Just yell them out.
Pigs.
Pigs? Sheep?
Rhinoceros.
What?
What?
Did you say ostrich?
Rhinoceros.
Oh, well that'd be pretty cool. Maybe in Africa, I don't know. Okay, all right. And then, so placement/internship, well, I bet a lot of people are doing that as well. That's what I did personally. So it's a paid or an unpaid job on a farm or ranch or an ag business. It can also actually be in a school laboratory or in a community facility. Is anyone doing that, working for a farm or ranch or a feed store? That's awesome. That's what I did too, like I said. I grew up on a dairy farm, so I was, fixing fence, milking cows, scraping corrals, and putting up hay my whole life. I still actually get to go home and do that every once in a while. I will tell you, I love putting up hay. That is my favorite thing, whether it's moving pipe, raking, baling, hauling. It is my favorite thing ever. So there's a really cool example, another example that I want to show you. This is about a kid in New Mexico who welds fences for his SAE. This is it.
My name is Satin Castillo. I'm from Truth and Consequences, New Mexico, and I'm a sophomore at Hot Springs High School. My SAE is a placement SAE on the Peterson Ranch, building pens for working cattle. When we built this gate, we started out by measuring the right length of the pipes that we needed for each part of the gate. Starting with these corners, we squared them up and welded these corners to the bottom and on the other side. One of the biggest challenges about my SAE is getting the precise measurements of the pipe so that there's not gaps to fill when you're welding. What I've learned the most from my SAE is different techniques on welding, working with what I already knew to get better, such as working with the wire feed welder to build all the gates. What motivated me was I had already been working cattle with the Petersons, and they knew they could rely on me to help build these gates. Some skills that I have gained through my SAE are designing the pins and laying out the material that I needed, and using new equipment that I hadn't before. For example, the skid steer. My ag teacher, Julian Marta, has helped me with my SAE by showing me how to weld in the classroom and then bringing it into a real-world experience. I joined the FFA because I saw some of the career development events and I thought that it looked like a lot of fun. Other students should join FFA because it's a really good experience and you get to meet a lot of new people and make a lot of new friends. It makes me really happy to be involved with the FFA because of all the experiences.
Pretty cool, right?
My name is Katya Witt.
What you guys are doing in the shop right now with your dustpans or feed scoops is actually great training if you want to develop an SAE or you're welding, building panels, stuff like what he was doing. So there's 3 more types of SAEs we need to cover. There's research base. This isn't super common, at least as far as my experience goes, but it's pretty neat. You use the scientific method to discover new agricultural knowledge or validate current knowledge. So I read a really cool article about a school in Connecticut. These girls are growing these things called tenotrophs or something like that. I can't remember how to pronounce it. So they are like miniature jellyfish and they excrete this substance that has a fluorescent glow to it. And you can take that fluorescent substance and inject it into brains of people who have PTSD. And then if they have a PTSD attack, they can watch this fluorescent substance go through the brain and understand like what's going on and how the brain is interacting. High school kids are helping with this massive medical project. I think that's really cool. There's the school-based enterprise SAE, which basically like you identify a certain market, you make a plan with your advisor to use school facilities to meet those needs. And then service learning, this is a really cool one. You can do this one as an individual or as a team, and then you have to conduct an assessment. You have to plan goals, objectives, budgets, and then you have to promote, implement, and then evaluate a service learning project that benefits your school, your community, or a nonprofit organization. This can actually kind of coincide with scouting projects, if any of you are doing that. So this chapter in Indiana did a really cool service learning project. They partnered with their local paramedics to conduct a day about emergency responses in fields. So in this example, they have this dummy right here. They call him Rescue Randy. He is an unfortunate farmer, and he gets trapped under his combine. So they teach farmers what they can do if this happens to them or if they stumble upon a neighbor that this has happened to. So that can be your SAE project. You can partner with your community and figure out how to help them. So purposes of an SAE, the number one, I think you guys probably already know, it's your hands-on real-world experience. You apply the knowledge that you've gained in the classroom to the real world. It's a great way to control what you learn, do, and what you earn. So if you have an SAE, you have to do a record book, right? Are you guys all working on your record books? don't you just love inputting everything, your expenditures and your income and stuff? It's actually a really great way to develop personal finance skills. And it can give you a jump in the job market. That's huge. Whether you're planning on going to school, like college, after you graduate high school, or just getting right into the workforce, an SAE will give you a huge advantage. So benefits, kind of along those lines, you can earn cash, awards, and recognition. So you can do this at 3 levels, just like in your community, within your chapter, within the state, and then even nationally. And as you progress and earn more awards and more cash, like the prizes get better and bigger as you go throughout the scale. There's SAE grants. Those are $1,000 grants from National FFA. So like if you are loving building your dustpan or feed scoop out in the shop and you want to make some serious money doing that, in the fall, you can go to ffa.org/SAE grants, and you can actually apply for this grant, and you can get $1,000 to get you started making your own dustpans, feed scoops, selling them. I think that's really awesome. Proficiency awards. So there's the 3 levels again. There's your chapter, there's state, and there's national, and you get plaques and cash prizes. So these pretty well go hand in hand with your SAE. You can get them in placement, entrepreneurship, a combination of placement and entrepreneurship, and then also agri-science research. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. But there's also STAR awards. They're awarded at each degree level. So you can start with your green hand, and then all the way up to your American degree. You can get a STAR award for each degree. That's pretty awesome. Cash prizes, everybody loves cash. So this is my husband, his senior year of high school. He won Utah State Proficiency Award in swine production. He got $300 and that nice little plaque. His mom still has that framed, well not framed because it's a plaque, but she has it hung up in her house and she's super proud of it. And he's so proud of it that he brings it up like every month to me. Because when I was in high school, I did not like doing my record book. Like honestly, my advisor was always writing me because I would not do my record book. And because of that, I ended up with 3rd place runner-up within my chapter for all 4 years of high school, when really like I could have cleaned house if I had put a little bit more effort in. So bottom line, take your SAE seriously, take your record book seriously, and if you ever need help, just talk to your advisor, because I'm sure Mr. Rhodes or Miss Ingram or Schaefer or Burrell would love to help you. Okay, that's everything. Thanks. We can get the shop now.
Yeah, that's good. Everything she said is true.